Hey everyone, Chef Tovia here. Today I'm going to show you how to make my triple chocolate cake. And this is just a chocolate cake with two different types of chocolate frosting. Okay, first here in the bowl I have 1 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 cups of sugar, 3/4 cup of cocoa powder that's unsweetened, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, a teaspoon of baking powder, and salt. And I did sift in the baking powder and baking soda. And here I have a cup of buttermilk, 2 eggs, I have a cup of oil and 1 cup of coffee that's been brewed, and also some buttermilk. So I'm going to add in the buttermilk. That's 1 cup. Have a cup of vegetable oil, 2 eggs, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. You don't have to have a hand mixer to make this, you just whisk it together. So just whisk everything until smooth, and then we're going to add the coffee last. So I got everything just sort of mixed together. Doesn't have to be smooth yet. And then 1 cup of coffee. Any type of coffee of your choice. So I got everything smooth. Take the spatula, go along the sides just to make sure everything is scraped from the bottom and sides. And now we're going to pour this into 2 9-inch cake pans lined with that I've sprayed and then lined with parchment paper. So pour it evenly. Divide the batter evenly between the pans. These will go in a preheated 350-degree oven, and these will bake about 20 to 25 minutes. So these took about 28 minutes. I just want to show you they're done. They're spongy, and you can do a toothpick test, but I just pretty much know from looking at it that they're ready. So I'm going to let these cool off completely. Once these cool completely, I'm going to stick them into the freezer and let them sit in the freezer for a few hours. And then we're going to fill and frost the cake. Okay, so I have here a very cold mixing bowl with a whisk attachment. And I'm pouring in 2 cups of heavy cream. So I'm going to let this whip on low for a minute. So I'm going to let this go for a minute. So it's been 1 minute. I'm going to increase the speed. So now I'm going to whip this until soft peaks begin to form. It's starting to get a little texture, so I'm going to turn it up on high. And it's starting to get thick. So let's turn this off. Looks almost kind of like a runny pudding. So here I got a 1/4 cup of cocoa, and a half a cup of powdered sugar. Also, I have here mixed is 4 tablespoons of well, actually 3 tablespoons of heavy cream dissolved with a tablespoon of instant coffee. So just pour that in there. And then we're gonna mix this, starting on low. Then just increase the speed. Okay, before I let this whip completely, I want to scrape down the bowl. Okay. Oh, one more thing that's going to go in, half a teaspoon of vanilla. Then I'm just going to whip this until stiff peaks form. Okay, this is where I want it to be. Pretty thick right before it almost starts to look like a butter texture. And this is going to be stable because of the powdered sugar, the cornstarch and the powdered sugar, and also the cocoa powder. And this is just going in between the layers of the cake. So I'm going to set this aside and we're going to make the buttercream. So for the buttercream, I have here 1 cup of butter that's at room temperature. And this is salted butter I'm using. We got a total of 4 cups of powdered sugar. So you're going to add half of the powdered sugar. And also here on the side I have 3/4 cup of the sweetened cocoa powder. I'm going to scrape everything. Now I'm going to add the remaining powdered sugar. Add 2 tablespoons of milk. Cocoa powder. That was 3/4 of a cup of cocoa powder. Teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, slowly. So now I increase the speed as it's combined. So now I'm gonna allow this to cream for about 3 minutes on medium. Alright, so I'm gonna scrape down the sides. I'm gonna add about another tablespoon of milk because this is not gonna be spreadable. It's pretty thick. So in goes another tablespoon of milk. Give everything a scrape down. Okay, I think this is perfect. I'm going to set this in the fridge for about 15 minutes. Alright, so I'm going to scrape down the sides. I'm going to add about another tablespoon of milk because this is not going to be spreadable. It's pretty thick. So in goes another tablespoon of milk. Give everything a scrape down. Okay, I think this is perfect. I'm going to set this in the fridge for about 15 minutes. So I'm going to start with my cake here that I pulled out the freezer. I'm going to flip it with the peel all the parchment paper from the bottom. Now I have the whipped cream that we made, the coffee chocolate cream. Make sure that it's evenly spread between the layers. You don't want one part higher than the other. Okay, I think that's about even. So we're going to put the other cake on top. Okay. Just going to peel the parchment paper. Some of you may not agree with this, but this is how I do my cakes. I'm going to place the flat side on top with the flat side of the cake face upward. And just rotate it, make sure they look even. Then don't press down on the cake. Just allow it to kind of settle naturally. Okay, now we're going to have to quickly add the buttercream on the outside. The buttercream will help hold the cake together. Just with a big dollop of buttercream. So now I'm going to stick this cake in the freezer for a few minutes. Okay, the cake's been in the freezer for 20 minutes. I'm just going to do another quick thin layer of the chocolate buttercream. Okay, I'm going to run hot water over my spatula and dry it off. Just go across the top of the cake very quickly. Okay, and one more time. So now I got a Wilton tip. This is a rosette tip. 1 ounce. I'm just going to do a quick little swirl. Okay. Try to do it evenly apart. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so in between each one, that's it. So simple little chocolate cake. I hope you guys try this recipe and enjoy it. Please do not forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And remember to live and be well. Do all you can to stop all bullying and abuse.